We can't afford to wait for Arundel. Not in his condition. The Deadwalkers will be scouring the city to find who killed their Lich. We gotta get back to the camp fast.
Dost thou feel the power of the World Heart flowing through us, since thou didst absorb the Lich?
I feel a little stronger, but it's not enough.
Yes, it is far from over. This power comes straight from the Necromancers, who sucked it from the World Heart. We must starve them.
Sybil, can I talk to you?
Yes?
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
What do you want to know?
Anything new on...
I think I just discovered something.
Tell me.
From what I've read, the World Heart is not in Vertial. Well, not really. It exists in a sort of other world next to us, in a sort of limbo, in fact. And it's impossible to get there without using an extremely complex ritual.
And can you perform it?
No, but the Ice Lords have discovered a way to create passages and to keep them open. And it's by using these passages that the Ice Lords are able to channel the power from the World Heart. But they're draining it. They're using more power than can be replenished.
Mercenary, it is well that you are returned. A creature that seemed like a dead thing came. It claimed you had sent it.
Yeah, he's a potential ally. Don't worry about it.
I fear I attacked him, and arrested him. He tried to talk to me, but I felt safer with it under guard, considering his face.
Where is he now?
He is with the Red Scribes.
Perfect.
You seem to have evolved. We may at last be able to have an interesting discussion.
What do you want?
Quite simply an exchange of experiences from one superior entity to another.
I am not certain I know what you mean.
You are using a human body as a host, just as I am, though the condition of mine is somewhat worse. What is your degree of control? Your feeling? What have you tried? Do you still feel the need to satisfy your human's desires?
It's more like coexistence. Vulcan is still most present. I have need of its human experience. Some aspects of this flesh existence are still strange to me. I understand not why we tarry here giving help to this one or that one, when we know that we must go to the World Heart.
You see, humans, when you get down to it, are rather like ants. They have to scurry around all the time to feel alive, to give themselves a sense of purpose, and they live in groups, of course. If one combines these facts, one can see that they actually need to rush about here and there, helping one another. Despite the fact, of course, that those they are helping are about as important, from an overall perspective, as the ants that we spoke of initially.
Who are you exactly?
I am Mathras, immortal and unique.
Right. So why aren't you out there hanging out with your Deadwalker friends?
First of all, I don't have any pals. I'm a little too old for that. Secondly, I find your implication that I am associated with them most unpleasant. I have nothing in common with those dead things. I've been around for over 6,000 years, and I'm still very much alive, thank you. I admit this body is looking a little worn.
6,000 years old. Hey, you don't look a day over 250.
You flatterer. I did, however, lose a toe this morning. Nonetheless, these Deadwalkers are simply corpses as they're animated by magic. Whereas I am an immortal spirit who changes bodies when they wear out. There's absolutely no similarity.
But that's awful. You steal bodies?
Alas, voluntary donations are hard to come by. If you hear of any, do let me know. I'm on the lookout. But if it reassures your delicate sensibilities, I generally choose dead bodies.
I want to ask you a couple of questions. Do you have any idea about what I am becoming?
In all my long lives, I've never seen your like. Even the term demon seems to be designed to cause confusion. I have seen real demons when I lived as a war drum player amongst the dwarves.
Dwarves are just legend. You're yanking my chain.
It would be churlish to mock someone when it is so easy. Thus the dwarves did exist, and I was once one of them. They used to use these little creatures, barely the size of toddlers, in their enormous forges. They were little red creatures with tiny horns and a wicked air about them. You see, they were able to survive in the flames. The dwarves called them demons. You look a little like one of them, only much bigger. And you have an even more pronounced affinity with fire. I'm reserving judgment about the wicked attitude. I believe this affinity with flames is no coincidence. You are clearly a response, a weapon, and your purpose is to face the Ice Lords. It is entirely possible that you are the fruit of an attempt to rebalance the forces of nature. Alas, I have no idea which entity is behind all of this.
Why did you come to Carolthas?
Why not? There's one thing you should know about eternity. It can be rather dull. So I do my very best to be in the right place at the right time. The place where it's the most fun.
Fun? You think this is fun?
Well, distracting then, if you prefer. What do you expect? I'm just so bored. The End of the World is a show I wouldn't want to miss.
What do you know about the Deadwalkers?
Apart from the fact that they're an incongruous mass of corpses with appalling bad taste that are animated through the use of magic, nothing. I can tell you that the power necessary for their creation and to keep them working is far beyond the magical abilities of any of your contemporaries. And since it's obvious they are incapable of any decision-making or strategy, they are clearly being controlled from a distance. All of which suggests the Ice Lords who are controlling these things are rather powerful. Something, I grant you, quite difficult to believe, when one saw them start out at the same pitiful level of incompetence as their brothers, the Red Scribes.
In 6,000 years, have you ever seen a situation as desperate as this one?
Honestly? Well, no. You are, as you might put it, fucked. Or at least the mortals seem to be. But you carry something within you that may modify things somewhat. And it is this seemingly insignificant detail, this flap of a butterfly's wing, which may eventually change the apparently manifest destiny of the world as you know it. This demon, as you call it, has never before walked the earth. Neither he, neither it, nor any other of its kind. If they had, I would know of it, believe me. Consequently, and in spite of the evident futility of such a sentiment, there may be grounds for you to feel a slight glimmer of hope. That is, of course, if it is your desire to avert disaster.
Well, that's comforting. What happened to the Elven King?
I think he was simply lacking in strength of will and determination. They transformed him into an Arch-Lich. It's a particularly delicate and extremely dangerous magical process that could only be performed by an Ice Lord. It can only be performed on an elf, and then only one who is desperate to live.
How so?
Elves have many flaws, but most of them do have a very profound sense of duty. If an elf believes he is going to be tortured to make him reveal the secrets of his people, for example, he can literally will himself to die. It would seem that this king was desperate to continue living at any price, rather than dying with honor. That is what allowed them to turn him into an Arch-Lich.
I want to ask you a couple of questions. Talk to you later.
They attacked the wrong person. How dare they condemn our king to such a macabre fate? My father. It's time for us to repay the Deadwalkers in kind. I want to see them destroyed, so not a single one of those dead ever dare set foot in our streets again. We're going to launch a massive assault to take back our city. It is time to turn the tide of this war. Vulcan, we will need you and your extraordinary abilities. We have to send a small group to open the city gates. I'm counting on you. I know that you can be stealthy and incredibly effective. A few soldiers will be going with you. This is our best chance. Black Frost doesn't seem to be here anymore, and most of his forces went with him.
This prince is a stupid dreamer, but a useful one. If he attacks, he will draw the Necromancer's eye, clearing the way for us.
All right. Count me in on this mission. Nothing more. I don't intend to take part in the fighting to retake the city. but your last stand coincides with my objectives. Black Frost should find your army fascinating. He'll send a large part of his troops against you, and he might even show up in person. And as it appears that his realm is one of the paths to the World Heart, that'll clear the path for me.
I would have preferred more assistance, but that'll have to do. This will be a magnificent battle.
If you say so.
Thou knowest that Black Frost's palace will take us to the World Heart, yet still thou dost waste thy time in vain battles. Thy stupidity knows no bounds.
The knight would like to talk to his friend about an ancient ritual. For it is said that wisdom and strength often reveal themselves through the mists of time.
A ritual? Considering what happened to me the last time I was at one of those, I should probably listen to you. So what's it about?
Where the knight comes from, the bravest warriors are permitted to take part in a dangerous but powerful rite. They must search for special ingredients to make a potion for themselves that they then drink. Only the very strong survive. But if they live, they gain the experience and skills of many warriors long dead, and thus each of their blows becomes more deadly.
And you did this? This potion?
Yes, the knight accomplished this ritual many years ago, and he carries within him the wisdom of all the great warriors of Alkander. It made him much stronger, and he is sure that if an exceptional warrior was to go through this same ritual, the effects would be many times more powerful.
Uh-huh. So it looks like I'm going off looking for outlandish ingredients again. But hey, if it's for a good cause...
The knight has prepared a list. His friend must now search for all the ingredients written on it.
I'm on it.
Vulcan, come here. I need to talk to you about something. While you were in the city, the Deadwalkers apparently began stirring. Several scouts have disappeared without a trace. They can't just have been ambushed by chance. Someone must have given their roots to our enemies. I'm afraid we have a traitor among us. Though if that's the case, I don't understand why we haven't been attacked by the Deadwalkers yet. What's really troubling is that these disappearances pretty much correspond to your arrival here, which means that your living dead friend is the prime suspect. Even if it's just as possible that it's one of the Red Scribes, or even one of your people.
And why can't it be one of your people?
Why would he do that? And above all, why would he wait until now to betray us?
Who knows what goes on in a traitor's head? Maybe he thought that everything was played out and my presence here made him change his mind. After all, until we got here, you weren't doing much. And now things have started to move, and the outcome of the combat has become less certain.
You're extremely presumptuous. If what you say is true, this traitor actually waited to see if you were really capable of reversing the situation. Fine, for the sake of argument. Will you help us carry out this investigation? Yes or no?
I'll see what I can do. But if it turns out the traitor is one of your people, you better do what you have to.
Oh my, you don't look so good.
Something jamming up your pipes? Perhaps you should consider an enema.
I'm just fine. Don't worry about it.
Well, not to be disagreeable, but perhaps you should start worrying about it.
I'll leave you here. I took care of that Deadwalker barricade that was bothering you.
Really? Excellent. Now we can keep watch everywhere on the steps.
I'll be going now. Since you arrived, the enemy seems to be aware of our every move.
Truly. Surprising that they haven't yet arrived here to destroy this camp. Most interesting. Or perhaps very stupid. In any event, I do feel sorry for you. One doesn't seem to be able to put one's trust in anyone these days.
You don't understand. What I want is...
But I understand perfectly, my dear boy. I'd merely hoped that you were above this kind of nonsense. Since my arrival here, I've been surrounded by your friends, something that rather precludes the possibility of me talking to the enemy. I have not once left the camp, and no one deigns to speak to me of strategy, which is a pity, given the evident levels of incompetence of your generals. Thus, it seems obvious that these suspicions are unfounded. You know, since arriving here, I have the odd feeling of standing in a turnip field.
A turnip field?
Yes, it must be all the superior intelligences that surround us. Trust me, child. You should leave this area as swiftly as you may.
You would know more about the Deadwalkers than us. Who do you think the spy is?
Walking around in a dead body doesn't make one an expert on all other dead things, young man. In fact, I find the suggestion vaguely insulting. But I have learned to trust my experience, something that you, despite your youth, should attempt to do also. I imagine we could quite easily reduce the possibilities. Firstly, the traitor must be able to enter and leave the camp without being stopped. Then, it must be someone who can observe your comings and goings without drawing attention to themselves. Lastly, it is someone who knows your plans. Someone who knows your military commander's orders. That alone excludes a large number, particularly the undead here. In your place, I should go and question the camp watchman. Logic suggests they will have seen something.
Thanks for the tips. I'll get right on it. Let's change the subject. Talk to you later.
Greetings, mercenary. What can I do for you?
I'll be going now.
Your transformation seems to be speeding up. You should be careful. I'm afraid that you won't be able to recover the humanity that you have lost.
Listen, it's real nice of you to worry about me. But personally, I never felt so good. Do you have a moment? I wanted to ask you a few things. Who is this Black Frost?
Don't tell me that you don't know the name.
Don't take me for an idiot.
He's one of the Seven. In the past, he used to be more discreet. But for 2 years now, he's been leading the Deadwalkers' assaults, and is regularly seen in the front lines.
What changed?
I don't know. The Ice Lords Alliance is a delicate balance. It is possible that this is the result of an internal power struggle. He has certain abilities that make him fit for the role. Black Frost is without a doubt very effective. Just look at the destruction around us.
What happened here?
As far as I understand it, the Elfin army was caught unaware by powerful magic that buried them under ice in an instant.
They didn't stand a chance.
And how could they? Such magic requires the presence of a very powerful sorcerer, someone on the order of an Ice Lord. They rarely take to the battlefield, but when they do, all hope is lost. Rumor here has it that it was the work of Black Frost.
Let's change the subject. Later. Mathras, do you have a moment?
My dear...
I want to ask you... Talk to you later.
A good day to you, mercenary.
Mathras, do you have...
My dear...
I'm gonna need your experience, man.
At last!
Do you have a moment? I wanted to ask you a few things. What do you know about Carolthas?
It's a very ancient city. Far more ancient than it appears. The elves are master preservers of architecture. They shrink from destroying, preferring to construct new strata on top. You can find traces of Carolthas in works that are over 1,000 years old. Some buildings, like the Royal Palace, are of unequaled complexity. But the city also incorporates more primitive districts. And there must be underground areas as a result of all these piles.
Let's change the subject. Later.
Greetings, mercenary.
Can I have a look at your stock? In our camp? Aren't you afraid it'll communicate with its masters? Sir?
It's a calculated risk. Your friend Edwin told me that she can interrogate those creatures, so we captured one.
You really can do some pretty weird things.
Listen, Vulcan. We're not going to turn down any information. If we can find out how to haul our asses out of the fire, I don't see how it can hurt. Ready to make it talk?
If our fire breather doesn't need me right away, I can start getting ready.
Excellent. Let's start the interrogation.
Listen, Maggot Head. You're going to tell us everything you know.
That's not quite how it works, Captain. It can't just answer questions like that. Tell me what you want to know, and I'll dig around in its memory to find the answers.
In that case, why not dig everything out, so we don't miss anything?
Even for someone as skilled as me, that could take weeks. Its brain, however limited, is like an immense archive that contains both recent memories and memories of its past life.
All right. I want to know if that bastard Black Frost really has left the area.
Let me concentrate. Yes. I see him raising the wave and turning the whole city into ice. This soldier must have been at his feet. Then he gave the order to attack and gave orders to several powerful undead. Apparently he left right after. He appears nowhere else in its memory.
What are those powerful dead you were talking about?
I see a flying creature, like the one in the swamp, and others. The image is blurred.
So the army is being commanded by a tormentor now?
No, I don't think so. They make good spies, but poor leaders. That said, I don't see any real generals.
Nothing that looks like that one that attacked the village.
No, but Black Frost will definitely have left someone in charge. Someone he trusts. This soldier just didn't see who.
What were the Black Frost's orders?
You have to understand that this creature's ability to comprehend is limited. From what I can see, it was told to keep watch over the city. He asked to be sent living people. Prisoners. The other living people must still be alive and under guard. Other prisoners. And of course, that he be informed in the event of trouble.
Does he know we entered the city?
This dead thing doesn't anyway. But that doesn't mean a thing, unfortunately. I think that he... Oh no! He saw me!
Huh? Who are you talking about?
Well, well. Probing the spirits of the dead. You can well imagine that this sort of communication goes both ways. So, that's where my dear rebels are hiding, isn't it?
I must break the link! Right now!
Edwin, I need to speak to you.
What can I do for you?
I would like to ask you a few questions. Aren't you cold like that?
Is that your polite way of suggesting I'm indecently dressed?
I was simply concerned about your health.
Oh, how touching. But after having spent nights on end, trapped in a cage in the middle of the swamps, I can assure you that catching a cold is not highest on the list of things I worry about.
We're going to try to take back the town. Any suggestions?
Yes, of course. You'll need to locate a unicorn, a few leprechauns, and perhaps a fairy or two. They are your last, best hope.
So you're saying it's impossible?
You catch on quickly. The might of the entire elven army was swept away in a few minutes. The red scribes and freeborn blades are only a few dozen strong. Be realistic. Your allies are disintegrating. You'd be better off fleeing.
And then what? Wait for the war to be lost? Put off dying another month or two until the Deadwalker army finds us?
You could hide yourself and learn how to control your demon. I could help you and speed your progress.
It's tempting. Yeah, why not? I'm getting a little tired of fighting for lost causes. Just let me get organized and we'll get the hell out of this town.
I cannot allow thee to simply flee. Step off of the path to the World Heart and I will kill her. I will kill thee as well if necessary.
Vulcan, are you still there? Did it speak to you?
Yeah. Seems like he's not a big fan of our plan to run away.
The need to reach its goal has grown too strong. Very well. Your demon will no doubt gain strength through combat. And this place seems the most appropriate.
I'm afraid you might be right. I always hear people talking about the...
First, forget all the work. It is from these energy.
The demon and...
It's a good bet, this power. Imagine...
So all we have to... Hey, thanks for your help. Without you, we never would have gotten anything out of that dead stiff.
You know me, I just love to be helpful.
I'm going to have need of your talents. Come with me.
You offer me what? Sword play? Suspicion and sarcasm? Huh. I wouldn't miss it for the world.